My name is Christopher Lusick, and this is my video lab report for Lab 5. For this lab, I developed the following problem statement. How will the observed motion data compare to the predicted motion data of a ball starting at rest, rolling down a ramp, and then going into free fall? The answer to this question will be interesting because this will display how external forces and work cause differences in the data. With the different path of the ball, there are many opportunities for work to be done on the ball that will not show up in the predicted data. To complete this lab, I used the energy principle, the momentum principle, Newton's second law, tracker, and glow script. First, I'll explain the energy principle and momentum principle as they apply to this lab. The energy principle states that the change in energy of the system is equal to the work done by the surrounding plus the heat. In this lab, we will not focus on Q. Also, essential equations for this lab are the gravitational potential energy is equal to the product of the mass, acceleration due to gravity, and the height, and the kinetic energy is 1/2 times the mass times velocity squared. Also, the formula that relates momentum principle states that the derivative of momentum with respect to time is equal to the net force. My procedures for this lab were to record a lacrosse ball rolling down a ramp, rolling across a horizontal surface, and falling off the horizontal surface to the ground. I'll show this video on the next slide. I then used tracker to track the position of the ball over the time the video was taken in order to make calculations. I then created a glow script model of the situation for the predicted data. Here's the original video of the ball's path. Using tracker, I tracked the position of the ball over time as shown in this video. This produced position versus time data points, and I was able to use this to make calculations on the coming slides. I'll use them to calculate velocity and other data at different times. I then made different calculations for the predicted data while comparing it to the observed data that I obtained from tracker. For the predicted data, I first wanted to calculate the predicted velocity of the ball as it rolled across the horizontal surface. I did this using the energy principle, considering the horizontal surface as the ground for ease of calculation. I set energy initial equal to energy final to find how the gravitational potential energy would transfer to kinetic energy. I used the equations and the data to find the predicted horizontal velocity would be 0.939 meters per second. I then used the data points from tracker over the time the ball traveled on the horizontal surface. Using distance traveled by the ball over this time, I found the observed velocity to be 0.610 meters per second. These data are slightly different, the reasons will be discussed later. I then wanted to find the observed and predicted data as the ball fell from the horizontal surface. For this part, I used the momentum principle to find the time the ball fell. Using Fnet equals dp dt, which can be manipulated to the y position equals 1/2 gt squared, I calculated that the ball would fall for 0.340 seconds over the 0.566 meters it fell. For note, 0.566 meters is the distance the ball fell in tracker. In tracker, I found the time from leaving the horizontal surface through the 0.566 meters was 0.33 seconds. This is very close to the predicted data. Then I wanted to calculate the range of the ball's path after leaving the horizontal surface. Using the calculated data from earlier, I used the distance traveled is equal to the velocity times time. This predicted that the range of the projectile would be 0.319 meters. Using tracker, I found that the real range was 0.183 meters. This is not far off from predicted data. Also, using the observed horizontal velocity and time, I found the ball's range should have been 0.203 meters, which is very close to the real distance. I was also able to model the ideal predicted data with a computer model using glow script. I input the characteristics of the lacrosse ball, the initial conditions, and the time over which the ball fell. The initial conditions include the horizontal velocity of the ball on the horizontal surface before falling. Again, this is the ideal model which will match the predicted data. When I click run, the ideal computer model is shown. This also gives me a position versus time graph, velocity versus time graph, and data points of the ball. The path of the ball in the model matches pretty well to the path of the real situation, as shown in these pictures. I will now discuss why there is a difference between the predicted and observed data. The computer model assumes that Fnet is equal to 0, which would mean the ball has constant momentum and does not slow down on the horizontal surface. This is because the model does not account for air resistance or friction. There is also no human error in the computer model, as these are truly model conditions. As you can see in the diagrams, external forces act in true conditions that do work on the ball, slowing it down. This causes the ball to slow down on the horizontal surface, which results in a range that does not match the predicted range. This leads to my improvements. To make the observed data more like the predicted data, I could use a ball that minimizes friction more than a lacrosse ball, like a marble. I should also ensure that there is no initial velocity on the ball and ensure that it does not bounce coming off the ramp. Also, better camera quality could have made the tracker data more accurate. In conclusion, the observed and predicted data differ due to friction, air resistance, human error, and camera error. However, the energy principle and momentum principle can be used to make a relatively accurate model to this situation. This concludes my video lab report. Thank you.